It is just incredible what the Avalanche have done so far. Best record in the NHL, 21-2-7 on pace, as Steve was talking about, for 133 points.
They've got more players, more quality players back in the lineup. They're just a better hockey club than they were 10 days ago.
Brent Burns with a shot, fought off by Tarasov. Yeah. Josh Manson tangles beneath the goal line there with Lundell and skated out by Lehkonen on this top line for Colorado. And here is Nate MacKinnon. Marty Necas weaving through the slot, fed it off. Here's a shot. Score! Sam Malinski and the Avs strike first.
The Panthers get a nice forecheck in. You see behind the net, Lundell is trapped back there. Josh Manson sitting on top of him. And as the Avalanche race up the ice, here's the player that came on the ice for Manson. It's Sam Malinski. Malinski's going to jump into the play. Heads up feed for Necas. And that's Lundell late into the play. He had to get up, get back to his feet, and he couldn't catch Malinski. And it's relentless. Look, here's another 2-on-1.
On a feed from Landeskog. Nichushkin is dumped by Tarasov. Tuesday in Nashville, they went to overtime and then a shootout loss, 4-3 against the Predators. Net front, MacKinnon swept it across and Tarasov made the stop. Necas out of the corner. Marty Necas sends one bouncing for Cale Makar. Pivoting out high. Taves, one-timer kicked out Tarasov. So many luminaries back in the building here in Denver. Necas spun in toward the net. A shot is denied by Tarasov.
You know, as we get close to when the teams will get picked, I mean, there is probably 13 or 14 of them in this game on both sides.
And Jared Bednar was telling us pregame, they don't really practice. They identify what their issues are. And this team is so veteran and so locked in and has been since camp. They just recover and fix. Gregor speeding in, scores! An answer for the Panthers. And we're tied at 1.
If he's in a straight line, he's got good direct speed. The Avs do not get the puck deep here, and they're changing. You see, Girard comes in late. Taves is on the other side of the ice. He thinks that Girard's going to be able to get to him, but now the two Avs defensemen can't get over quick enough. And this is a really good shot by Noah Gregor as he goes up under the bar.
4 points out of third in the Atlantic at the start of the night. 5 points out of first in the Atlantic. Here's a turnover. Can't do that. MacKinnon with a shot.
Move it out with possession, and Samoskevich thinks he's got support in the middle of the ice.
Yeah, against MacKinnon, you see what he's done this year. He leads the NHL in goals and points as Blackwood went sprawling out and did earn a whistle. It came for 3 overtimes. You saw in the only goal clinched the cup. There's a sweep against the Panthers. Rebound in front, turned aside by Tarasov on Brock Nelson, and then Florida lifts to center. Top of the circle, bats it back to the line. Taves moved it off, and now Nichushkin. Penalties over. Verhaeghe out of the box, and Tarasov gloves on Devon Taves. For Carter Verhaeghe since coming back. He moves it along for Brad Marchand. Beats it back. One-timer Jones. Blackwood made the stop with Reinhart parked in front.
Watch how Reinhart at the bottom of your screen will work his way to the front. And then when Jones shoots it, there's Reinhart inside the Colorado defenseman Taves for the rebound. You see him shake his head a little bit because he didn't get enough on it. Jones's point shot is perfect. But look at Reinhart.
Reinhart on the turn off the skate of Taves. Marchand on the retrieval. Gets it back along the half wall. Flip one through to Reinhart. And another stop from Blackwood.
Really struggled since Connor Hellebuck has gone out. He's back skating and ready to play pretty quickly.
Cale Makar with a wrister up high. Loose for Nelson. Score!
Brock Nelson's 12th of the year. It starts with his face-off win. Really good help from the Avalanche wingers. And then Tarasov can't really get to the puck. It comes to the front of the net to where Lundell and Nelson are. This shot hits Lundell, and look at Nelson squeezes it into the left side of the net. Tarasov's going to spread that left leg as far as he can.
So 11 of those have come now in these last 22 games in his first full year with the Avalanche. Net front, backhand. Blackwood makes a big-time stop on Verhaeghe.
Avs had just taken that 2-1 lead. The Avs have split Taves and Makar. They've got Makar out here with Gerard. Malinsky was out there with Taves. And the Bennett-Verhaeghe combination.
Sam Bennett on the draw, but it's won by Brock Nelson for Colorado in the D zone. And out flipped ahead for Lehkonen. Nelson. Lehkonen is stopped by Tarasov. Kept alive for Malinsky. A shot whistled wide. On Gavin Brindley, who tangled behind the play. Malinsky skated it up ice. And now on the turn. In over the line. Here's Brindley's shot. Saved by Tarasov. Brindley is quick. Shot from the short side. Tarasov fights that off.
That he was going to be out, as Maurice had told us last week when we were in there. He's like, oh, we don't have a timeline because we don't really know much about how quickly a player can come back from this.
Down the center of the ice, here's Burns. A shot, save, rebound, score! Gavin Brindley put the Avs up by 2.
Previous 5 games, he's now got 5 on the year. Here it is again, a pinch up the wall by Petrie, and then Samoskevich and Rodriguez converge on the same player. That opens up the man advantage break, the rush up the ice. Brent Burns is all alone in the middle of the ice. His shot hits Tarasov.
Gerard gains speed through center, flips for Nate MacKinnon. On the entry, pulls up on Seth Jones. Gerard pumps at the line. Gerard looking for a lane. MacKinnon out high with a rip. An Avalanche on front.
His speed through the middle of the ice backs everybody deep into the zone. Gerard just laid off this puck to him. Then he and MacKinnon will play catch. Look at the traffic in front. That's Lehkonen, who never gets quite enough credit for all that he does for the Avs. He's set up shop in front. And MacKinnon, that's 5 shots on goal. You know what happens, though? Things happen fast, right?
Sure do.
And here's EJ now retired, joining the media.
Doing ride-alongs with Landeskog. All alone, Artturi Lehkonen. Again.
Brindley's going to look up here on the breakout, and back behind the Panthers is Artturi Lehkonen. I mentioned earlier, I don't think Lehkonen gets recognized for all the good work he does around the puck, supporting Necas and
Passing Joe Sakic since the franchise relocated here. MacKinnon in behind, harassed by Ekblad. He skates it out, a shot! Tarasov to stop on Lehkonen. For Colorado, MacKinnon with a shot. Blocker saved Tarasov. Makar along the line. Makar, one-timer! Marty Necas on the power play for the Avs.
Of course it's offside. They run the power play. It works really well. It's off the board, and it's still 5-1.
The play was offside, no goal.
Lehkonen hacked it down for MacKinnon. Beautiful feed. And Lehkonen is stopped by Tarasov.
These teams in particular, they got 7 and 6 guys at least that are going to be in the Olympics. Like, how will they respond?
Score! Studnicka wiped it net front, and then Eetu Luostarinen came crashing in.
After video review, the call on the ice is overturned. It was a kicked-in puck. Face off of the outside.
Yoel Kiviranta, to your point, fourth-line winger, did not come back to the bench at the start of the second. So the Avalanche have been shorthanded since then. Nelson for Manson, a shot, swallowed up on the reload. Rebound, score! Gabe Landeskog.
Forecheck in the corner will lead to the Landeskog goal. Look where Landeskog is, and as the puck gets moved from the side to side, Landeskog is in all alone. He's got plenty of time to take this from his backhand to his forehand as this goes through the Natchez screen off the deflection, and Landeskog slides it, right? Like it could go. You play all year for to make the playoffs to get a great seeding.
Fine play here, sets up Rodriguez, back to Greer, they score! Mackie Samoskevich, after some great work by A.J. Greer, set that all in motion.
Real nice effort play by Greer as he pokes it by Girard. Now the scramble is on. 2 passes later, Samoskevich gets to dunk it into the empty net. Rodriguez will make 1 pass.
We would love to maybe deal with some adversity at some point. Like, do you want your peak later in the season? You'll take it for sure, absolutely.
See, this race is no fair.
McKinnon.
That's a penalty shot.
On Ekblad. Yes, it is.
There was no chance for Aaron Ekblad in this race. So he tries to, he's got a great backhand when he dekes. He'll move the puck quickly, and at some point he'll get going a little quicker.
McKinnon moving in, backhanded stops by
Well read.
Tarasov.
At this point, a comfortable 6-2 Avs lead.
Ross Colton gets sprung. He goes up against Ekblad. Reinforcements join it. A glove save from Tarasov. It's been a historic start to this season for the Avalanche, and it continues. 6-2 the final. The Avs over the Panthers.